Here on me becoming Jojo and welcome to another of my videos, and in this video we're basically going to discuss the future of the Yakuza series, or Lucky Dragon, or Ryogaku Toku, or basically whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm just going to discuss about the future of the series overall, because one of the series where us fans of the series are definitely are very spoiler when it comes to like material, because we're getting basically games every single year and like TV shows, and like compared to other game series just like Metal Gear Solid or Devil May Cry, where not that many games come out, and yeah, even when new Yakuza games get announced, we're like, that's it, really? Like we were expecting like 3 announcements, and when we need to like chill out and just like wait until the game comes out and start talking about the other one. But yeah, so yeah, yes, sorry about this crappy AI image. I don't support AI. I just think it's so stupid. It looks funny. So yeah, let's begin. So the first thing we got is the Amazon Prime Like a Dragon show, which 6 episodes long, and basically the series is already out. All 6 episodes are out, and I haven't seen the show yet. I mean, I'm going to watch it quite soon, but the show is very controversial. I mean, it's either one you hate it, or two you like you like it, because that's this game. I'm just show the reason why it's so controversial is because it separates itself from the games a lot. Like it has the same beats, but overall it depicts things very differently. Like it's not really exactly like the games, which that annoys a bunch of people. Me personally, I really could care less, because the games will always be there. There will always be the main canon, yes, and having a show that adapts it, does its own things, like it takes liberty in like adapting things differently than the original source material. It creates an interesting different vision of sort of the same story, which I always find intriguing. That's why for me, it being faithful to games, I don't care when it's like that stuff, because it's like, dude, like what's the point? It's like, and what's the point of the show if it's exactly like the game, and you could just literally just watch all the cutscenes on YouTube, like just right, all game, full movie, all cutscenes, it's, I don't know. But yeah, I'm quite excited to watch the show, and the show is doing decent from what I'm hearing, despite it being very controversial. So I think we might get a second season and more seasons, which it's good to see where what they adapt next, like the Yakuza 2 stuff, and like Ryuji, and like maybe doing things out of order. I think that would be very interesting to see where it goes. Like for example, the season number 2, they adapt Yakuza 2 and Yakuza 4, so we get introduced to like Akiyama and Saejima. Well, I guess reintroduced to Saejima in second season, but it's like with Yakuza 2 with the whole Ryuji stuff. Then the third season's a hybrid between Yakuza 3 and 6, like things like that. I think would be very interesting. Like sort of merged all the other stories, merged them together to create sort of this Frankenstein of a monster of I think that should be very interesting. But yeah, let's see where the show goes. Maybe the future season will be less controversial, and they will be generally liked more. But yeah, let's just wait and see what happens. Okay, so moving on to like next project will be early next year in February, with like Like a Dragon, Gaiden, Pirates, Yakuza, and Hawaii. It's kind of a mouthful, but yeah, this is our next game, which is basically the Gaiden for 8, because the man who raised his name was Gaiden for 7, and this is the Gaiden for 8. Which is funny, because back when they released Man Who Released His Name, we were not sure if that was just going to be one and done, like, oh, it's just that's it and we don't have any more guidance. But getting us getting this basically confirms that going onwards, basically, we're going to get more guiding games. So yeah, that's cool. But yeah, when it comes to Pirate Yakuza, it's a Mashima game, which that's something that all of us wanted, like a full-on just pure Mashima game. But I guess problem with that is that Yokoyama, the way he talks about those characters, he says that Mashima doesn't really work as a protagonist because he's kind of like part of the Yakuza, plus he's kind of this crazy wild card of a character. So us have been able to play him would be we're sort of like ruining that idea, that philosophy of his. But but the reasons why in this Zero him being playable was possible was because it was a prequel and Mashima wasn't quite the Mashima we quite know yet. And then in Dead Cells it was just a goofy spin-off, and Kiwami 2 was basically just like a very mini story, like an epilogue sort of for the game. So yeah, that's really count. So yeah, and that's just why this game works, because it takes place right after the Yakuza got dissolved, and they're not Yakuza anymore. They're just like guys that are in charge of some company, some business. So yeah, that's why. Plus Mashima gets his memories erased. He loses his memories, so that's why Mashima being a protagonist is able to make so much sense. So yeah, also it's cool because the last time Mashima was part of a major game was in Zero, because there he was the co-protagonist alongside Kiryu. So that's definitely been 10 years, but he finally has the role he deserves. So yeah, that's very dope as hell. So that this game comes out early next year, it's going to be basically it's set in Hawaii, and this game should be larger than Man Who Raised His Name. Maybe not by too much, but yeah, it should be larger game, and the game looks promising. I mean, kind of like we see more of like the whole Palicana, was it? No, what's their names? I forgot. Like that tribe that I quote from Infinite Well. We should see more of that story expanded in Mashima bonding with this new kid, and sort of see like old Mashima characters come back, him interacting with it. So yeah, like Minime, well, I think that's his name. How it's pronounced, like him, like the last time we saw him was in 4, and it's first he was like what, one of the Mashima's right hand, and for having such a high position, the Mashima family, it was weird that he only appears in 4, but finally he makes another appearance in this game. So yeah, that's pretty awesome, and of course Saejima will return. But yeah, maybe Makoto, who knows. But yeah, it's a cool thing that RGG recently have been started with like Infinite Wealth. They've been have acknowledging like their past characters, and sort of like their past game, which is something that for a while the series didn't really reference a bunch of like older characters from like older games. They just sort of like forgot about it, but recently they're like hey, those characters exist, which is pretty cool. So yeah, anyways, this I guess so yeah, it's game 2025, and speaking of 2025, I guess this segues to our next topic quite well, that being what will be the next game of the Mashima game, because next year 2025 will be the 20th anniversary of Ryuga Gotoku, which it started in December 2005. So yeah, and as we can see here is the logo, which looks pretty cool, but basically the logo, as you can see here clearly, basically tells us what the next game will be, because the Mashima game will be part of the 20th anniversary, because we see Mashima's Hanya tattoo in the logo. We see Hawaii, and the other thing we see in the logo is Ichiban's dragonfish, which is funny because the reason why the next game has to be related to this, basically the logo tells us what the next game is because Kiryu's Dragons on this anniversary logo, which is weird because Kiryu is yeah, he's retired, but at the same time he's the face of the franchise. He's the one that carried this franchise basically, and his tattoo not being this logo, because you could be like, oh, the logo means nothing because like, oh, it's just a collage of characters and it's like, it doesn't tell us anything. But no, the fact that Curious Dragons on this logo basically tells us that yes, the next game to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this franchise will be something that's related to Ichiban. And what could this exactly be? Well, I guess it could be multiple things, but I guess before we like go on and speculate that, I guess something weird about anniversaries as a whole is that I guess the anniversary of the series basically should be December of 2025 to December of 2026 because yes, despite it being released in 2005, the first game, most of the year the game wasn't out. So yeah, so 2025 won't really be the 20th anniversary of the series. Really, 2026 will only December will be the start of it. But for the most part, most of 2026 will basically be the 20th anniversary of the series. So the Mashima game will come out, yes, February of next year, but that technically is still the 19th year of Ryugaku Toku as a whole, so it's not quite 20 yet, but something, some like, franchise kind of cheat, like they're like, hey, the anniversary, it's this year, like, for example, like Spider-Man, like, the Spider-Man 16th anniversary should start in like June 2022, but it started in January. And by the time 2023 we're around, the 16th anniversary of Spider-Man ended. But why? Because if the first 6 months of 2026 basically should still be counted the anniversary, but it wasn't. I don't know, it's kind of weird thing, or like how some like manga franchise sort of cheat, like it's like, oh, the 40th anniversary of the series. Then 3 years later, it's like, oh, it's a 40th anniversary of it again. You're like, oh no, the first time it was the 40th anniversary of the manga series, but now it's 40th anniversary of the anime. So yeah, it's kind of fun because they're kind of cheating. But yeah, I guess this is, I guess, kind of cheating also because like, it's like, yeah, they're celebrating the entirety of the year, but at the same time they're also celebrating the year it came out. It's kind of, one of these things that doesn't really matter. So like kind of like, I guess only autistic people like me would notice stuff like this. Like kind of like see it's like, oh, it's a brand new year. Therefore, I turned this age, even though I was born in the end of that year. And it's kind of funny, but yeah. Let's see how the 20th anniversary rivals the 10th anniversary, because the 10th anniversary of the series was Zero and Kiwami 1, which again, Zero cheated because it was like, what, March of 2015, so not quite 10 years, 9 years, so yeah, that's funny, but yeah. So let's see how Zero and Kiwami team up against Pirates in Hawaii and an Ichiban game. So yeah, this should be pretty interesting because most games get only one game for their anniversary, but Ryugaku Toku actually gets 2 games for its anniversary. So yeah, let's see how the other to their game stacks up. Kiwami 1. So yeah. Anyways, speaking of it, now it's time to talk about. So what could possibly be the Ichiban game? Well, I can think of a few things. I guess the most obvious thing would be Like a Dragon 9, which, yes, I think from an interview they said that a mainline game would now come out, every 4 years. But then some people have said that, oh no, it should be every 3 years. But Infinite Wealth took an extra year because, the COVID thing, because the game takes place 2023, but the game came out actually in 2024, so I guess maybe, but yeah, or maybe some of those games will take 4 years, or maybe some of those games will only take like 2 or 3 years, and then some other ones could take up 4, hell, even 5 years. Sort of mess. Anyways, I think it's fine because each one needs to be he is the new face of the franchise going forward, and rushing his entire saga extremely early on will be like, oh crap, our second protagonist is now over. So yeah, so they probably don't want to rush Ichiban games. So yeah, but it can very much be not like Dragon Nine, or another thing could be like an Ichiban spin-off game, sort of like how we had two Kiryu Samurai games, and that's so Kiryu and some other characters. So this could be just like a goofy Ichiban spin-off, like for example, like that's supposed to be originally about aliens. You could do Ichiban versus aliens, or another, obvious thing would be an Ichiban Samurai game, like a sequel to Ishin. Now that Ishin's been released to in English, it's makes more sense now than ever to make an Ichiban Samurai game. Or it could be something else like an Ichiban superhero game, or something very wacky Ichiban related. So yeah, early 2026 makes sense, or mid 2026. So what would it be, like Dragon 9 or Ichiban Goofy spin-off game? Okay, so speaking of the Ichiban saga as a whole, that's it's safe to assume Yakuza 7 to 12. So that we already have 7 and 8, so 9 to 12, that would be 7 to 12, 6 games will indeed in fact be Ichiban saga, kind of like how Yakuza 1 to 6 was Kiryu saga, although it won't be exactly even because Zero and Kiryu appeared in Gaiden and he was the co-protagonist in 8, so it might not be exactly even, but also Kiryu was a co-protagonist in like 0, 4, and 5, so not completely even, but that's but yeah, it's and 9 to 12, and seeing how it's 8 to 7 was a 4-year gap, and it looks like the mainline games will come every other 4 years, but maybe it's actually every other 3 years we might get a new numbered game. But because I asked this question on Reddit about people's thought, and some people said that, oh no, the the gaps between mainline games would like only be like 3 years, but again, Infinite Wealth took 4 years because of the pandemic, so it might be that, so yeah, maybe hopefully if we bite, because I did the calculations, and if we get a mainline game every 4 years, that means by the year 2040 we should get like Dragon 12, which by that time it should be the 35th anniversary of the series, which it isn't that bad, getting the 12th mainline game in its 35 years, plus a bunch of other spin-offs, not a bad plan. But some people have said that, oh no, maybe by the year 2035 we already have the 12th game, which would also make sense because that would be the 30th anniversary of the series. So who knows how long it would take, but it also doesn't really make sense to rush all the Ichiban games, because Ichiban's replacing Kiryu as the protagonist of the overall franchise as a whole. Now from going onwards, Ichiban will be the one to carry the franchise. So I don't really see a reason to rush the Ichiban games. Just let its time to sink in, and after Yakuza 12, who knows what will happen. Maybe we'll get Yakuza 13 with like Ichiban, or maybe they'll introduce a new protagonist after Ichiban, but or maybe they'll reboot the series and we'll get a different version of Kiryu and Ichiban. Who knows what will happen? I feel like it's right now us speculating. This far is kind of absurd. I can't talk. But yeah, now Mirror Eggs, like Dragon 9 is, speculating about that game's not that crazy, but for the other ones, yeah, that's quite crazy. What happens? So yeah, like Dragon 9, quite excited for that. Let's see what that game does. And when it comes to Gaiden games, Man Who Racing Name was the Gaiden for 7, and Pirates in Hawaii is the Gaiden for 8. So from now on, every single mainline game will have a Gaiden, which is fun because by the time we get like Dragon 12, that means we'll have gotten 6 Gaidens, and yeah, it'd be cool but which other Gaiden games could we possibly get? Well, I guess some characters that would be obvious would be Akiyama, Saejima, and Ryuji. And maybe new characters like Imai, or new characters that haven't even been introduced yet. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see all the Gaiden games, or who knows, maybe it's a far stretch, but maybe we get like a Gaiden 6, Gaiden 5, or like maybe we don't necessarily need to have a mainline game to get a Gaiden, but from the looks of it, we're getting a Gaiden every single mainline games onwards. So Like a Dragon 9 will come out, then a year later that Gaiden of that game will come out, which is pretty cool because instead, those Gaiden games are basically kind of like, instead of, making DLCs for the mainline games, decide to be like, you know what, instead of making story expansion, let's just give you one entire game. Which is cool because first time we sort of got something like this was Kiwami 2 with the Majima Saga. But then, the Kaido Files and Lost Judgment was an evolution of that. Then Man Who Raised His Name, now Pirates in Hawaii. It's pretty cool how we're getting like all those Gaiden games, It's pretty cool because a bunch of other characters don't really get that much, spotlight in the mainline games. So, having us, see more of those characters in the Gaiden games, makes perfect sense as a whole. So yeah, and also another thing, it's probably safe to assume that they won't repeat protagonists in the Gaiden games. And what about Judgment 3? Well, this, it's not their, segue to our next topics, but other RPG games are not part of the Like a Dragon franchise, like the Judgment series. So, making those games is kind of hard because, the main actor, Takura Nomura, how he's, has some trouble with his license, something like that. But, now that company's over, it should be easier. But yeah, we have to have eventually Judgment 3, Judgment 1, 2 were out, we have to have a third Judgment game. Let's not make Judgment another Kurihio where now we've got a third game series. That being said, I think Judgment should end with the third game. I don't think Judgment should continue on. Why? Because I just don't think Judgment series, as much as we like it, I don't really think it has the longevity as Like a Dragon. Plus, I think the Like a Dragon should be RGG's main franchise that goes on for an extremely long time and gets an absurd amount of sequels and spin-offs. And I don't think some people are like, oh, we should get this spin-off of Judgment, but I strongly disagree with that. I mean, nothing wrong against Judgment, but I just don't think Judgment should be as long as Like a Dragon and should get out spin-offs. I feel like after they're finished with Judgment series, they should move on to some other sort of anthology series, make Judgment just an anthology series, just 3 games, that's it. I mean, we could still see the characters in other, future projects, like cameos, kind of like how they appear in, So yeah, kind of like how we saw them appear in, Gaiden and, and Infinite Wealth's cameos. So yeah, that would be cool. And, some other game series, anthologies I would like to see RGG make, it's maybe a Shenmue game, it doesn't necessarily have to be Shenmue. Maybe have a Chinese martial arts themed game. Maybe make that into a duology series, because China has such a rich and interesting, history when it comes to martial arts. And, having an RPG style game all about martial arts. Maybe they can add some of mystical elements. I think that would be pretty dope. It'll be different because Judgment's different in the mainline Like a Dragon games. At the same time, it still has to do about being Japan. It has to be with Kamurocho and fighting the Yakuza. So at the same time, the Judgment series are not that too far different from Like a Dragon as whole. But a Chinese martial art game would be far away from even more unique than what Judgment was. So yeah, I think that would be a cool idea. And when it comes to license stuff, I mean, they did the Fist of North Star game, and not really license. I think they will fit them very well to do is a Kamen Rider game because Kamen Rider's an icon of Japan, and it'll probably have to be kind of like the Shin Kamen Rider movie and the Kamen Rider Black Sun. It'll probably be sort of a reimagining of Showa stuff into a modern era, because I don't think it would really fit RGG to make about the Heisei era. Well, maybe early Heisei, but maybe early Heisei, because early Heisei is more darker, because sort of modern Heisei-ish to Reiwa's way too goofy, and that doesn't fit I know it's so goofy also, but it doesn't really fit the RGG aesthetic of it's too Toei-ish compared to classic Showa and early Heisei. So yeah, give us Judgment 3, finish the Judgment series, then give us a Chinese martial arts game and a Kamen Rider game. Please RGG, that would be dope as hell. And I guess the last topic of this video would be the Kiwamis, because a bunch of people want the Kiwami 3, but me personally, I really don't want any more Kiwami games, because yeah, as much as cool a Kiwami 3 would make, after Kiwami 3 gets made, people will be asking for Kiwami 4, because the gap between Kiwami 3 and 4 would have been larger than the gap between Kiwami 2 and 3. And I feel like then people will be like, oh, what about Kiwami 5, Kiwami 0, Kiwami Matsui Kiwami, Kiwami 2, and Kiwami 6 because those games were the early, they have sort of this weird like physics that that's kind of rough now. So yeah, and I feel like they should draw a line, and they drew the line in Kiwami 2. I feel like if they do Kiwami 3, they can't draw a line anymore. It will just continue. There will be no stopping. I'm sorry guys, but just like if it comes to Kiwami 3, just suck it up. Just play the game. It's not that bad if people oversaturate. Like, yeah, Kiwami 3 would be nice, yeah, but it's just whatever, dude. Just accept it for what it is. We already got 2 Kiwami games to this. Anyways, the Kiwami games are considered the black sheep of the series. People crap on Kiwami 1, 2 all the time. Now they want Kiwami 3, which I'm not sure just doesn't make sense. Plus, we could like see Mine in in future guiding game or like a sport engine like Dragon Eye, and we can see Okinawa return like Judgment Dream, so or a guiding game. So they can expand upon Okinawa. So yeah. So yeah, that's why I really do not want more Kiwami games. Plus, they will take away time from making the mainline games, the Gaiden, some other spin-offs, and some other anthology series. Like, I'd much rather get a Chinese martial arts RPG game than a Kiwami 3 and 4 and 5. But yeah, again, nothing against me with the Kiwami games, but I just feel like we're getting too much remakes in, Plus, getting us a Kiwami 3, 4, it'll be confusing because for new players, they'll see like 2 versions of the new game. I mean not new games, but for new players, they'll see like 2 versions of like 3 and 4, and then the new players would be like, oh crap, should I play 5 and 0 or do I just wait until they get to Kiwami? It's just creating the Kiwami 3 and 4 would be nice, yeah, but at the same time, I feel like it'll create a bunch of new problems that I feel like they should just leave it at Kiwami 2. I'm sorry guys, but it's just not a big fan of the Kiwami ideas. And yes, I know Yokoyama has said he's kind of interested in it. So that's why people are like, oh yeah, Kiwami 3 is possible, but at the same time, which it is possible, but at the same time, we could have maybe just said, it's in a bunch of interviews, fans ask the creators, like, hey, will you guys make this one? The creators are like, yeah, we might eventually do it, or we'll see, but at the same, they just say it at times just to be nice, so who knows? So yeah, let's see what happens. So that basically ends our video here, which, yeah, I know, it was too long. It's like, 28 minutes, which is an absurd amount of time, and my video doesn't really have any crazy editing. It's just some images while I'm talking, kind of unprofessional. I mean, I could have, I guess all the topics could have been in a video each, which, but I guess I'm lazy, plus I'm not good at video editing, and I have a crappy computer, so I guess it's kind of hard for me to do that stuff, And I guess also I don't, write scripts for my videos. I just go like free flow, which I guess is a problem with me. I should probably, be better at this stuff, But yeah, I just want to get out my thoughts because, see how this video ages in 10 years, see if I was completely right or I was completely wrong, or what will happen, what will not happen. Or maybe I can go back and visit some of those topics and do it in a more entertaining, professional way. When I upgrade to a better computer and my skills of making YouTube videos get better. But yeah, I just want talk about all of this because it's just something I'm passionate about, and just So yeah, I just want to let's see how this video does. I mean, it's like so far the video is like 28 minutes long, almost 29, and let's just make it 30 minutes. What the hell? So I'll just ramble on for a bit longer. So yeah, that's basically, I guess, all I wanted to say. And, sorry if it was kind of repetitive, but yeah. Yes, I guess this will be the first YouTube video I upload that's 30 minutes long. I think I have already uploaded like 1 or 2 that are 20 minutes, but yeah, let's see how this video does. Probably not do well, not many people will watch, but oh well. Sorry if I come across too negative, but yeah. Yes, plus next year I guess I'll replay not all the games, but most of the mainline games, celebrate the 20th anniversary. I think that should be something very fun. Then later on, when I get better set up, I can stream all the games live, when I have a larger subscriber count. I think that should be pretty fun, or I might do it on YouTube or Twitch, who knows what. But yeah, quite exciting times. Could be like a Dragon fan. I guess something we need to get is like good action figures, good articulated action figures, and we do get some cool statues and plushies and like weird I don't credit whatever standees they are. Well, I don't really know what they are, but you know, it'd be cool to get like 40 on or to get action figures. But yeah, that's basically about it. You guys have a good day.